on the compatibility of moral worldviews and the insanity of utilitarianism. So here I am, posed rather pretentiously in the library that I volunteer at next to one of the larger concentrations of antique books. We've got thousands of the things and they're quite fascinating. We'll look into the world of the Victorians and Edwardians. And they are not what they are stereotyped as whatsoever. Anyway, I want to talk about moral systems in the, well, it's all modernity, but the more modern world of today. I suppose you'd call it the postmodern world. And for centuries, at least in Anglophone countries, apparently it's not so bad in continental Europe, and I know even less about the world beyond. Sorry, I'm experimenting with recording on two different devices at once. I've got the video camera over there, and then I'm using my tablet with the lavalier mic over here. Unfortunately, I cannot plug a microphone into my camera. Anyway, so for the past few centuries in the English-speaking world, there have been two broad systems of thought put forward as the basis of morality: deontology and utilitarianism. Now, these two, they're very broad categories. You have all sorts of different interpretations, but basically deontology is the study of obligations. Utilitarianism is trying to have a scientific view of how we can have the most good for the most people. Frankly, I think that neither of these systems are systems of morality, might be not quite the correct word here, ethics. These words have slightly different connotations, although really moral actually is the Latin translation of the Greek ethos. Anyway, it is a category error to call deontology and utilitarianism ethical systems whatsoever. They just aren't. Ethics is about character. It's about who you are. It is basically normative psychology, that there are personality traits that you just should try to develop within yourself. Whether or not they come naturally to you, it will make you a better person. Now, here is the interesting thing. One system of virtue ethics, the personality-based stuff, which is having something of a revival at the moment, is Stoicism. It's kind of like a ancient Greek/Roman equivalent of Zen. And of its four primary virtues that are most frequently referenced, different philosophers had slightly different list. Two of them are prudence and justice. Now, justice as a personality trait is not an idea that we're familiar with in the modern world. And prudence is actually where we get the word prude from, being a prude. And it means practical wisdom, and actually, who doesn't want that? But here's the thing. Utilitarianism is a subset of prudence. Deontology is a subset of justice in the virtue sense. It is doing what you ought to do towards other people. Both can be placed within a virtue ethics framework, and also this is an interruption from Ryan in the future editing the video. I have decided to trim out a 2-minute digression about trolley problems in which I say that there may be a problem with their inherently unrealistic nature, but I hadn't thought it very well through. So that's a question for another day. But more importantly, I actually want to talk about utilitarianism once placed as the primary focus, as the root of ethics. I believe is a pathway to madness. And the book that convinced me of this was actually Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Now, the funny thing about that book is that his brother Julian Huxley was a member of the Fabian Society, and I can't tell if Aldous was trying to rip apart the ideas that his brother endorsed, or if he was trying to promote them. But the thing is that book, it has a reputation as a political satire. And in a sense it is, but it gets compared to George Orwell's 1984 a lot. But I think Brave New World is less about the political system and more about the attitudes that drive people. Brave New World presents us with a worldview in which good and evil comes down to the scientific optimization of physical pleasure. Everyone is high all of the time, and orgy participation is mandatory. And again, it's not about the government, it's about the people that you talk to. It's about social pressure. And yeah, Brave New World is a book about utilitarianism taken to its logical conclusion, which is that you grab onto the first thing that you can measure and optimize it as much as you can without really having any grounds of knowing what optimum really is. You just make number go up, make number go down. There's no sense of balance in it. And frankly, I think it leads into that actually trains people to think in a particular way that is that of a cartoon mad scientist. That to get the most good for the most people, you have to rule the world and bend everything to your will. Anyway, I think I'm restricted to YouTube videos of no more than 10 minutes, and I've got 3 seconds left, so that's me for now.